All right, so what are we doing here today? New York was released, or rather, the expansion of New York was released, getting us some new tarmac to ride on here, which is a little overdue, I would say. I always felt that they kind of, you know, left Central Park just there hanging, pretty much on its own. So getting some extra roads for this one, definitely a plus. I'm going to do the Greenway here today because it is basically the route where you can, get the most of your kilometers in that are on the new roads. Unless, of course, you want to do a segment where you actually pass through Central Park. I'm going to bypass that today because I've done it a million times over. But by the looks of it so far here, what this does is add a lot more kilometers that are not predominantly up and down all the time, because Central Park, you could hardly do 3K unless, until you had to climb, basically taking you halfway to, wherever in the sky. Not many people like that. And if you were going for a Zone 2 ride, I can absolutely understand why. So we're going to have a look at the new roads here and see how that works out. So I gotta be totally honest, I have absolutely no idea where they placed me on the map here. I do realize that we gotta get through some of the tunnels there, which is, I'll talk about that when I get to it, but definitely contains something I totally do not understand. So we're gonna get to that. So basically what we got going here, I think, is a little bit of a lead-in to the actual route. Just looking at the profile there, I would assume it starts in about 300 to 400 meters or so. But if you look at the profile, it's basically a back and forth, really. So it's going to take me back the exact same way I'm going right now, or where I'm going in about 300 to 400 meters. So by the looks of it there, up on the left, right after this finishing arch, whatever you want to call it, finish line, segment line, whatever, you got the pens. So you got new pens added for this particular part of the new roads, which is good. Otherwise, that would mean every single event starting in Central Park, which it could get old pretty quick. There's a really quick way out of Central Park, so it wouldn't be much of an issue. But of course, having the ability to completely bypass it is a plus. So here we go, Greenway underway. All right, so here we go into one of these weird tunnels you got scattered all over the map here. And this kind of leads me to my next point about this course. And so far my only gripe about it, if I'm honest. Not so much a gripe, just more of me being puzzled, I guess. It's just something I don't understand. We'll get to it. So, pretty steep drop down into the tunnel, and an arrival board, departure arrivals, transfers, whatever. Kind of looks interesting because if you look at it, it's got all the other worlds listed, so you never know. Maybe Zwift is hiding something in the back rooms there that might interconnect all the worlds here, which would definitely open up a lot of versatility, if you ask me. I'm not sure how it works, how their servers are set up for different worlds, if it's even possible. But I just gotta say, I felt for years now that they're doing themselves a tremendous disservice in not interconnecting the whole thing. But you know, there can be a lot of technical stuff with information that I am not privy to and shouldn't be. So, just a personal opinion. And here's another one of these weird sprint segments they added. They'll show you your current best or your annual best, in this case 5-second power, and encourage you to beat that. As you can see there, mine not particularly impressive, but that's because I'm not a sprinter. So I guess for somebody who likes to sprint or maybe want to improve their sprint, these are kind of cool additions. To me, it's kind of meh. Not really sure how I feel about it. Hey, who knows, it might make me sprint one of these days. Here's what I'm talking about. My only gripe with this route so far, or these roads rather. So if you look at this incline here, it's quite steep. It's about 19%, but it's got this escalator thing. See, I'm completely off the pedals now. Just gotta wait for my SEO malac there to go away. And it still takes me up at about 29 kilometers per hour. So it's just something I don't understand really. I realize the fact that you got to get back to street level, of course, but you have this world. You can add any piece of road you want with any kind of elevation that you want. So why feel the need to add a bit of road that is so steep that you might need to add assistant, pedaling assist or whatever to it so that people can get up it? Or rather, it might be due to some trainers not simulating that kind of incline. Well then fine. Make the bump a little longer, and instead of 19% elevation, make it 10 or 8 or whatnot. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I just don't seem to understand it. So feel free to disagree. I'm not sure how it works in a race though, because what it does, even though it gives you, some assisting in getting up the hill, you can stop pedaling. But obviously, say in a race situation, somebody kicks, they're going to be going even faster. So you got to work anyhow. So again, kind of makes me wonder what the thought process is behind that thing. Anyways, coming around here to the Brooklyn Bridge, which has got a steady incline of about 2-3%, which I would assume pretty much mimics real life. Never actually cycled across the Brooklyn Bridge, so I wouldn't know for sure. And we got a banner right smack dab in the middle of it there. So I assume you can have some pretty interesting finishes in race situations here. Obviously, most of this coverage is going to be talking about race situations because that's what I do on Zwift. So, partner, that's all I'm talking about really. So a nice, I would say, medium climb here. Not too long, not too short, not too steep, not too flat. Kind of reminds me a little bit about, can't remember what the climb is called, but the one on Yorkshire, right after the start, when you make it right there. This isn't quite as long and it isn't quite as steep, but a little bit down that alley, I think. So it might not be a steep climb, but certainly in a race situation, it can be a very hard climb. Make no mistake. All right. Okay. All right, so I guess we're going back across the other bridge here, which I am unsure what it's called actually. Again, my geography skills in terms of urban US leave something to be desired. So we got this weird bit here of glass roads, predominantly downhill, and then we got the uphill to the middle of the other bridge there with sort of a bonus segment, sprint segment, whatever you want to call it, right smack dab in the middle of that one too. But that one looks a little longer in terms of climbing because we got this short downhill first. So we're going way below street level. We got to get back up to street level and then to the middle of the bridge. So this could also make for some interesting races then, I think. I did some of these roads yesterday, just riding around with no real plan to it, just to have a look at it. But I wasn't really paying attention to different aspects or how it might tie into race situations and stuff. So I'm trying to do a proper recon here today and see what to expect. Because I would assume that some organizers are going to jump at the opportunity to include these new roads in some racing. And I aim to be part of that. Okay, so just looking at the profile there, I don't think this route is going to take us past Times Square, which is too bad, because I really wanted to show the glass roads that they got in there. Basically, Times Square is, elevated, so you got glass roads situated way above the actual Times Square, kind of like the roads that we already know from Central Park, the NYCKOM, stuff like that. Pretty much the same deal, but you don't really have that crazy elevation that you do in Central Park. You got some 2 to 3%, inclines, but that's really it. It doesn't get any worse than that. Okay, so I take it we're, other bridge this time around, of course. So what we're doing is just doubling back, like expected. Alrighty. So I guess all in all, not too many surprises in this new segment of roads, but again, being the urban setting that it is, where would you find those? So, one more time, roundabout, Prospect Park coming up, and we got ourselves that batch in the bag. Just gonna finish this up, and then I'm gonna go see if I can find some glass roads for you. Just want to show them off to you. That's what I'm talking about. You probably already know about them, but I'll do it all the same. I need the extra 30 minutes anyway. So which way are we going? We going left? We going right? But assume it's probably right. Sorry, left. Yep. Alrighty then. Okay. See if we can't find ourselves some flat roads here. Sorry, glass roads, that is. So, as I was talking about, glass roads, Times Square. Not too much to talk about here, really. Small circuit coming up here. We're just going to do a left. And it's basically like the name says. Just a short circuit here of about 2-3 kilometers, maybe. It's got some slight inclines, a little bit of downslope as well. Obviously, seeing as it comes back to the same degree of elevation. But this is basically what you can expect from it. 4% is the toughest grade, and about 150, 200 meters maybe. So nothing really crazy around these parts. Just figured I'd show it to you if you hadn't already seen it. If you look up at the map there, you can see there's another pen up there. So we got 2 new pens with this expansion. And a little bit of a circle coming around here on the right. Again, bit of an incline, about 3%. So nothing like we're used to seeing in Central Park at all, but still takes you up on the rooftops. So a little bit of climbing here, but on the new roads, but nothing major at all. And like I said earlier, I think that's a nice addition because Central Park as it was nothing but ups and downs constantly, which I happen to like, but say for a Zone 2 ride maybe, it's not exactly what you want to be doing unless you're really, really disciplined, which I'm not. I always end up going harder on the climbs because I just feel like I'm standing still if I don't. But there you have it, basically. Just coming down here. Basically, it's all downhill, the remainder of this one. Going down to the right. And you can see where it connects. Just swings around there on the mini map. It'll come back as we head to the left here. But you can see where it connects to the main intersection, so to speak, which is Times Square. And that'll lead you, if you go to, when you exit this, if you go to the left, you'll head to Central Park over Manhattan, or if you go right, you'll go back to the Brooklyn Bridge at Prospect Park. So there you have it, basically. These are the new roads.